So let's talk, people. Hey, this is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com, MikeKollin.com. All right, let's talk. All right, so this is going to be a different video, but it does apply. All right, so here's the deal. So a lot of people ask me, what do I do? And man, that's a hard question for me to answer because it's really varied. So to say personal development, that's really vague. Because I'm highly trained in a bunch of different psychologies, communication, NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy, Reiki, Huna, pranic healing, etc., communication, linguistics, etc., psychology, human behavior, etc. So my point is not really about my training. It's really about, okay, I'll do it this way. So when I started really studying NLP and especially hypnosis, I remember when I was working with a client, they came in, and I remember during the trainings, they would tell us, like, the reason why your clients are your clients is because they are stuck in a trance. I was like, wait, what? I thought we were hypnotherapists. I thought we put people into trance. And Dr. Chad James was like, no, we take people out of trances. I'm like, what? So I remember putting an ad, after years and years of training, I put an ad in the local paper, it was a Vacaville Reporter. And I put NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, which is language and communication and psychology, etc. And I remember I put NLP, so then master hypnotherapy and hypnosis, and I put hypnosis and then timeline therapy, etc. And I remember I made some business cards and also said hypnosis on there, and something, it was like my third or fourth time posting it out. I made the business cards. Something kind of bugged me. And it kind of irked me. And I'm like, but I don't hypnotize people. I take them out of hypnosis. And I remember very distinctly looking at my business card where it said hypnosis. I go, it should say like UN, like unhypnosis or dehypnosis. Because, the reason why people are stuck and they don't make the amount of money they want, or they don't have a relationship they want, or whatever, is because they're in a trance that they learn from their parents or their friends or TV, or they just developed it over. A trance is basically a strategy that you develop or learn somewhere, and eventually it gets locked in, and you're stuck there, and you don't even know you're doing it. It's an unconscious pattern. Like, what do they say about most people? Most people marry so if you're a son, you marry someone who's just like your mom. If you're a girl, you marry someone who's very much like your dad. They have the same attitude, the same values, same beliefs, the same strategies, same unconscious bullshit. You know, if your father's an abusive father, then you're going to marry a man who's abusive. And a lot of this stuff is really, okay, I gotta tell you something. Okay, my freaking girlfriend in my 20s was exactly like my mom. It was insane. It was just like, now I didn't see it, but it might have been my sister. I'm trying to think who it was. Someone had pointed out, like, well, haven't you noticed that your girlfriend's just like mom? Like, what? No way, because me and my mom didn't get along very well at all. And guess what? Neither did me and my girlfriend. Oh my God, it was exactly the same. Oh my God. So I was like, holy shit. At first I was in denial, like, no way, I love her. And then after a while, I was like, whoa, that's exactly the same. So here's the deal. I noticed every girl I dated before her and after was the same. It was like I was dating the same person. And finally, I was like, oh my God, I got to do something about this. So I'm laughing my butt off because it's kind of a funny story. So here's the deal. If you want to know what I really do, I open people up. And I'm kind of laughing because I said this to someone years ago who was a fucked up person. And I mean a really fucked up person. I didn't know it at first, but after a period of time, I was like, whoa, I'm dealing with a really fucked up person. I mean, we're talking demonic narcissist stuff. And I forget how the conversation started, but I remember looking up saying, do you want to know what I do for a living? I open people up. All right. So here's the deal. This is going to be a twist. Okay, this is the second part of this. If you're an empath or a spiritual person or a conscious person, I don't mean an ego-based, I'm conscious. I don't mean fake people. I mean, you're really genuinely more conscious than the average person. You've generally met, because I've met people, I meditate every day. I'm like, really? How long? Oh, about 5 minutes. I'm like, wait, what? 5 minutes? Fuck. The fuck is that? It's not meditation, dude. That's just taking a deep breath. And so you got to be really careful of people. Oh, I'm into consciousness. I'm into this and, blah, blah, blah. Or, I'm talking about people who've meditated for an hour a day, every day for like 5 years straight, or they've been going to the temple and they've been spending time, like with me. So people are like, well, if you're Buddhist, then why don't you know much about Buddhism? Because I actually wanted to know about the healing side. So I spent time with the monks. I only went on the weekend when the masses went, I think twice, just to see what it was like. Because I'd been going to the temple for freaking like 10 years. And I always went during the week when nobody was there, very few people were there. So I could hang out with the monks and pick up on the energy, and they do healings on me, et cetera, et cetera. So again, I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. So I had told this person, if you want to know what I really do, I open people up. Because when you're in that box, you're stuck. So if you're an empath, and some of you are just built this way or made this way, or you've been this way for years. If you're truly a spiritual person, here's what's going to happen. All right. People that are closed, especially narcissists. It's not just narcissists, though. Most people don't want to deal with their shit. Most people don't want to look at their shit. So some people will smoke pot every day. They'll smoke it on their break. They'll smoke it on lunch break. They'll smoke it on their next break. They'll smoke it before work. They'll smoke it after. They'll freaking do alcohol or drugs. The reason why they do that stuff is they don't want to deal or experience who they are, their hurts, their pains, or... Okay, what is the typical thing about narcissists? They walk around truly believing that they're this perfect being and everyone likes me and look at me and I'm good and you're bad and I'm right and you're wrong, rah, 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 and they just think they're just these freaking... Now, here's the deal. Most narcissists are drug addicts or alcoholics, or they have some kind of habit. It could be biting their nails. It could be something that distracts the fuck out of them. The one thing that all narcissists have is they're overthinkers. They can't stop thinking. They will tell you, I can't sleep. I'm like, why? I can't stop thinking. I'm like, why? What's going on? Well, I'll tell you what's going on. They want to keep that door closed to their conscious brain, the right brain. They want to stay in their logical brain or the reptilian brain. And so that's why they think, they overthink and rethink and replan, blah, blah, blah. Because when you calm down, when you slow down, when you get off the drugs, when you get off the alcohol, if you stop smoking pot for a few months, here's what happens. Your right brain is your self brain. And when women say to men, just be yourself, they mean be inside your body, connect with you, the real you, your heart, your soul, your emotions, your feelings, which is in your body. People that are very logical, they don't want to do that. People that are narcissists or overthinkers, they don't want to do that. Because then they have to be honest, and they have to see themselves and they realize, like, wow, I was a real asshole to that girl last night. Man, I'm addicted to people at work. Holy fuck, I totally fucked that person over. I'm not a good... Okay, I've got a real one. Oh, God. So there's this energy healer / therapist / coach I used to go to this was a long time ago. And she was really good at she is really good at opening people up. And I tried to get my ex-girlfriend to go because she just thought she turned out to be a narcissist, but she just thought she had no issues. And it was always me. And now I was going because I wanted to improve on myself, and I had anxiety really bad, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was willingly going, like, I mean, this is me. I was trying to get her to go. Oh, no, I don't need to go, blah, 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 blah. And so what happened was she didn't tell me, but she went. So I remember she showed up at my door, knocked on my door furiously, and I opened the front door. I'm like, what's going on? I gotta talk to you. I'm like, what's going on? Oh my God. I'm like, what? She goes, I'm fucked up. I'm like, what? She goes, I've got issues. And I'm looking at her like, I thought she was being sarcastic. Because she was a funny person. She was really goofy. I'm sure she's still alive. Just fun. We were funny as fuck together too. I mean, man, we laughed our asses off a lot. So I'm like looking at her like, and I'm thinking like, oh, you're fucking with me. She goes, no, I'm serious. And she goes, no, I'm serious. I'm like, wait, are you really being serious? She goes, I have real issues. I've got a lot of issues. Oh my God. Well, this is what happens when you go around someone who's an expert at opening people up, is you start to see yourself. And narcissists don't like that. That's why they close people down. All right, so here's what I'm trying to say. Remember, people that are very logical, they hide behind their logic, which means their left brain, from their emotions. And they hide from themselves and who they truly are on the inside, which is the right brain. Because the right brain goes down inside your body. It literally is the nerve, those set of nerves that connects to your entire body and your five senses, right? So a narcissist will get really mad at you if you're open. They can't, okay, here's why. Because people will, how to explain this? People unconsciously go in rapport with each other. So if you're a very warm, okay, you don't even have to be an empath or a spiritual person. If you're just an open-hearted or a warm-hearted person, and an empath and or a spiritual person, is what happens is when people get around you, they open up. So a lot of men, now one of the things I've been specializing in for 30 years or over 30 years now is helping men learn how to open up to the right brain so they can communicate better with women, so they can turn women on, romance women with the internal language, mentally stimulating, emotionally fulfilling, blah, blah, blah. So here's the deal. What I started realizing about men, because in the very beginning, it was really hard to get them to open up. And I was like, well, what, I do the techniques now. What's going on here? And they'd eventually close me down. And the first 2 days of the training, I always hated it because it would give me a headache. I'm like, oh God, and I can't stand not being open, right? Because once you're open, man, you don't ever want to go back into that little jail, that left brain, that shit. That's like prison. So here's the deal. I began to learn over a period of years, like, oh, men are hiding from their emotions behind their logic. That actually makes sense because women are born using their right brains, so they get really good at developing how to deal with their hurts and their emotions and their feelings, and when they get upset. And they'll even, even younger than 10-year-old girls, 7-year-old girls, my friends, his two daughters, they're twins, and they were like, I remember one day, I think they were 8 years old, maybe 9. I don't even think they were 9. And the one sister looked at the other one, well, when that happens to me, it was a little boy who was really mean to one of the girls. When that happens to me, what I do is, and she literally gave her strategy. She goes, I take a warm bubble bath and then I cry or I listen to certain music. And I don't remember exactly what she said, but she gave her strategy. She goes, well, that's how I deal with that. And then when I go to school, I just imagine that I got like this, like protector over my chest and my emotions so they can't hurt me. And I was like, wow. So guys don't do that. What we do is we get really good at hiding behind our logic. From our emotions, got to be tough. And so you'll have 30, 40, 50-year-old grown men who've never learned how to deal with their emotions. So what happens is, now here's the thing though. Why do men love to be with women? You can say sex, but what does sex do for a man? It opens him up to his emotions. After men have an orgasm, there's a chemical called oxytocin, which reacts to men opposite than women. For women, it acts as a mental stimulant. It stimulates you, and you receive it through communication, whereas men receive oxytocin and it releases into their bloodstream through sex, technically through an orgasm. And what that does, it relaxes your whole body. And it relaxes that artery in the lower reptilian brain, which allows blood to flow up into the larger human brain. So here's my point. We want to be with women because we want to open up. We want to be relaxed. The chemical oxytocin, it's a drug. And it's a drug and it feels good. But here's the deal. Most people that are very left brain, they don't want to open up on a social level. They don't want to open up in public. And really what it is, they don't want to open up without that drug, that oxytocin, because the oxytocin makes you feel good. You only think about good things that makes you feel good. Well, here's the deal. Like when my ex-girlfriend came home, she went to an expert at opening up people, which is what I do. And she was like, oh my God. She's freaking out because for the first time in her life, she is fully and completely seeing her own shit. And she couldn't deal with it. And I start to go, it's okay, babe, it's okay. Yeah, and she freaks out and she goes run out the door. I don't want to talk to you. Because here I am, very wide open, which means she's going to open up even more because she was actually trying to close down. And she realized, like, oh, even if it wasn't conscious, she was like, oh my God, I'm not, here she was trying to come over to close down. And here I am wide open, helping her open up even more. And she literally ran out the door, didn't slam it, but kind of hard, but not in anger, but just trying to get away. So here's the point. I open people up. That's what I do for a living. It's a very good thing once you get past some of the rough spots, and it's like the most empowering thing you'll ever experience in the world. Now, here's the deal. Again, if you're an empath, spiritual person, or just a warm-hearted, open-hearted person, if people have been yelling at you for no reason, if people have been hurting you and being mean to you, here's why they're doing it. This is what's really going on. It's because they open up when they're around you, and they don't want to do that because now they have to look at themselves in the mirror because, like, oh shit, I'm actually not this freaking nice person I thought I was. I'm a freaking dick to people, blah, 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 blah. And it freaks them out, especially narcissists. If they're a very logical person or a narcissistic person, nothing's their fault. It's your fault. It's someone else's fault. You got to point the fingers. You got to blame. It's not me. It's someone. And when they start to realize it's themselves, dude, they lose their shit. And I mean, they lose their shit. So if you've been abused by a narcissist, kind of take glory in it when they open up and they start losing their shit, because they're opening up to themselves. They're starting to see themselves, and they're starting to realize they're not the God-gifted, perfect person that they want everyone to see. So, but they have no problem pointing out your flaws, I'll tell you that. So I think you're getting the point of the video. So what do I do for a living? Yeah, I do all this other stuff, but ultimately I open people up, because that's how you heal your issues. That's how you reconnect with yourself. That's how you become a powerful being. Hey, this is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. God bless you guys. See you in the next video.